The Croods. The Croods!
Oh my god!
A 2013 film. A film for all the family. A film of education. Arguably the closest thing to accurately representing Charles Darwin's theory of evolution.
Go back! I want to be monkey!
The movie being centered around character Eep and her caveman family, Ooga. Thunk.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
Gran.
Still alive!
Sandy and the first Family Guy. The first step to evolution. The God of all men. In short summary, the movie is about the Croods fighting to survive in a world which, seen by Grug, is constantly out to kill them. However, daughter Eep wants to further explore and see the world, in which, arguably, she gets what she deserves when she meets character Free Guy. Oh, sorry, wrong Ryan Reynolds movie.
I was on my way to pick up my daughters from school. Well, I didn't show up.
Who warns her that the world is ending, so her family must embark on an epic quest full of dangers, as well as new exciting things never seen before. So, it's basically like when you don't play Minecraft for a really long time, and then you come back 8 years later, only to discover a Swedish man who screams a lot, a small British child, and a man who doesn't take normal pills, taking over the Minecraft field. Overall, the movie is great, exploring the unique idea of a family living in a somewhat dystopian-like caveman era. To be honest, it's not really clear when the movie is set, before or after our time, but I suppose it's not really that important.
Since I don't have a brain.
Though, combines the caveman-like family with having relatable issues a modern-day family would have. For example, Eep, although obviously loving her father, she feels the urge to need to explore and see what else is out there in her life, rather than spending her entire time around her family, and to do things on her own terms, similarly to the hip and edgy teenagers like me. I'm failing to see that although Grug is being overprotective, he is doing what he sees best for Eep, which is essentially big cave equals safe.
Big cave, I safe for big cave, big cave.
But not considering that he may need to let go and allow for her to look after herself and allow her to be responsible, which is direct correlation to overprotective parents in modern day.
I just want to talk to him.
Why do you have a shotgun?
I just want to talk to him.
Dad, this is ridiculous!
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
It is not his fault.
I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him.
You can't shoot him!
Wait, what are you doing?
All character arcs being well concluded by the end of the film. I could go into depth, but I'll save that for another video.
You can't keep getting away with it!
This movie also has a wacky cast list starring hit celebrities such as Ryan Reynolds, as previously mentioned.
As an NPC, I've been hit by cars more times than I can even count. I'm sure it's soul-crushing, but you know what? Everyone loves it, so get out there and make today.
Emma Stone and Nicolas Cage.
Don't have a Grug moment.
Which all do a relatively good job. I mean, Nicolas Cage basically sounds like Nicolas Cage, but with a Grug moment. Which is all you need. Overall, I did enjoy The Croods, and apparently most people did too. Having good reviews and doing well at the box office. And why shouldn't it? I mean, it's got lit funny.
Yeah! Try to keep up!
This movie got lit sad.
No more caves, Greg.
What?
It's got thrills. It's got caveman. It's got Nicolas Cage. Did I mention that already? I just can't believe he's fucking in this movie. Despite all of this, there's probably something you haven't noticed about the Croods. Probably something in the back of your mind in which you're subconsciously aware of but failed to notice. This movie has so much death.
Tail. You know. Try hiding from it in the tall, dry grass.
Come on, Douglas, roll over.
Now, before you average Grug enjoyers say anything like, "Oh, but Grug learns his lesson. Use power of idea." No. This movie is much darker than first appeared. You'd be right in saying the blue shirt guy and all the crews live by the end of the film. At first glance, until you take time to consider the realistic implications, which arguably this movie chooses to ignore. As there are many circumstances which I believe would have caused a severe and gruesome death to a number of our main characters, which today we should be listing in chronological order. I will also be counting the actual deaths you see on screen. Without further ado, let's get into the kills. The first set of actual confirmed kills comes from the introduction animation at the beginning of the movie, which describes a recently deceased neighbor. But chronologically, the first of the families to meet their demise is the Gorts, which were stomped on by a mammoth, followed up by the Forks, which were eaten by a giant snake.
Got you this time.
The Earth family died to a giant mosquito bite. And finally, the Gorks, which died of COVID-19 before it was cool. The next death comes from the trampling of Grug, as after Eve leaves the cave without Grug's permission, causing her to wake wolf dog-like creature from their slumber, effectively causing their survival instinct to kick in, which is to run away like a little bitch. Unfortunately for Grug, this survival instinct makes them completely blind. The sexy hunk of a man that is Grug.
You so fucking precious when you smile.
Causing what I counted 6 wolves trampling on Grug with such force that it causes him to be molded into the ground whilst hitting off his head, which I believe, with a force like that, hitting Grug 6 times would be a fatality. Grug does not escape death's grasp, however, as within the same scene, after giving Thunk the signal to come out from hiding, Thunk being the absolute degenerate and possibly schizophrenic, that he thinks it's a really fucking good idea to mess around and attack the thin air like a retard.
Yo, is this person retarded?
Yes.
Yo, is this person retarded?
Yes, she's retarded. Is that the answer you're looking for? She's retarded?
I'm not trying to be a like, I really can't tell.
Hey, Leafy, she is retarded.
Thus causing him to throw a huge boulder onto the side of the rocks. And due to everyone in the Croods family having ungodly super strength, of course, gifted by Grug's side of the family, causes it to bounce back, heading straight for Thunk. However, Grug is able to prevent the boulder from colliding with Thunk. Even though he should let that little shit meet his rocky demise, fortunately hitting Grug instead. And with the speed of the boulder and the impact it made with Grug, I believe he would not have survived this fatality. Arguably, this scene was foreshadowed moments prior in the animated scene, as Grug uses a massive ball to stop the wrath of the owl dog-like creature, which is interpreted as Grug succumbing to the downfall for his love of big, thick balls.
Can I put my balls in your jaw? Your jaw. Balls in your jaw.
Gran is next to go when Grug, not having any coins on him, doesn't have any pockets. Grug later learning from his mistake when he finds himself inconvenienced by Free Guy, refusing to give him his free Free Guy poster as promised.
Mondays, am I right, Joe?
Being highly intelligent and displaying incredible reaction times, Grug ingeniously confines Free Guy into a narrow, inescapable, yet easily accessible device, which is interpreted by many as the first ever pocket in existence. However, I digress. Grug chooses to use Gran as a way to make his decision, throwing Gran so high that she makes it to the meme heaven Hall of Fame, only to be too much of a boomer to be cool enough to belong there, resulting in her falling right back down again due to the length of the fall and the force in which Grug threw her. She most definitely would have fatality. Thankfully, after what he did previously, the next death comes from none other than character Thunk. After attempting to steal egg from Freebird, a giant bird-shaped creature with headbutt force like a goat, which direct hits him full force from the side. Now notably, this most likely would not have killed Thunk, as he has gamer fat to protect him. However, he most certainly would have severely injured himself, to the point which modern day medicine, which clearly they do not have, due to the previous family dying of cold, he would inevitably succumb to his wounds, dying a slow and painful death, as he deserves. Next, after the family rides the scared elephant away from the oncoming dangers. However, the elephant is approaching a small gap, almost impossible for it to break through. To prevent this from happening, Ape and Grug step down, tightly holding the elephant's trunks, forcing it to stop. Now, an elephant, when it is running as fast as 40 kilometers per hour and trying to reduce such speed with an individual's feet, would most certainly result in fatal injuries for cavemen at the time. However, for this instance, I'm willing to let this slide, rounding it to Grug and Eve's superior strength, as this strength is consistent throughout the film. Despite this, what I cannot accept is when the elephant crashes into the rocks, causing all the crudes to fly through the air at an uninterpretable fatal height. But even if it isn't the injuries sustained in the environment, like theirs would almost result in death, and especially for Grug, who crash lands once again into a big round ball, hitting it so hard that it causes the big ball to crack, most definitely causing a Grug game end. On top of this, in this scene, it shows the crudes eating tiny drops of the egg. However, there is not enough left for Grug to consume, in which he makes the statement,
well, that's alright, I ate last week.
Which means, on average, the crudes hunt for food roughly around every week. And judging by later in the film, the way they react to the full roasted turkey, they most likely only ever eat similar eggs from similar animals. Now Sandy, being a baby, trying to survive on a diet like that, would almost certainly cause her inevitable demise, as roughly baby like that would not survive 12 hours without real nutritional food source. Now, experts out there are probably saying that she clearly has boss baby genetics. Yeah, you may be right, but from studying the Boss Baby movies multiple times in full depth, there is no evidence to suggest these Boss Babies any sort of genetic advantage. So I'm gonna have to add Sammy to the count. Next kill comes from the hands of Grug, when he throws another huge, round, shaped object at the owl. For most people, this would do nothing, but for Grug, being built up of nothing other than pure muscle would almost certainly be an instant kill.
I'm not like other girls.
Immediately after Grug decides to tell a spectacular tale of Crispy Bear, who, like Curious George, met her fate after being too curious, causing them to discover something they shouldn't have. Although this is not directly shown to the audience, it is clear that Grug has had a very close, intimate relationship with this bear. So I do believe that this story is to be true. So Crispy Bear is going on the count. The next scene does not come until Free Guy packs himself into the movie, in which Eve gets so tired of his nice guy act that she proceeds to crush his back. However, Belt was able to pick up Free Guy's reboot card, reviving him. So this does not go in the kill count, in case you average viewers thought I was counting this unfairly.
It's number 1!
Hey! Oh!
The next game in does not come until the whole world starts to break apart. when the Croods are running from the oil thing, in which Grug decides to form a suicide pact without anyone else's permission. Unfortunately, this does not convince the oil to stop murdering them, so Grug ends up killing his family and himself in the process by pushing them off the cliff. The next scene, after the Croods are exploring the new environment in which they have found themselves, a bright red-like area, similar to the features of an open field, in which the Croods decide to hide in a giant whale, which immediately decides to eat them.
That's good.
Now, judging off how long they were eaten by the whale, I believe they would have survived easily. But when the whale violently throws up the Croods, tossing them through the air to an almost impossible survival height. To top things off, the birds that live in this red grass environment then proceed to punish this innocent creature by eating it till there's nothing left but sheer bone. Like father, like daughter, at the mere sight of Free Guy, Grug's natural instincts kick in and immediately, uncontrollably, without him even thinking of it, decides to break Free Guy's back, which was inherently foreshadowed to us in a previous scene.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
The next kill, Croods decide that forest fires are awesome and proceed to cause as much damage to the open environment that they find themselves in, most likely causing death to thousands of wildlife living in the area. But Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket happens to be nearby, which due to the flames caused it to activate, traveling at 7.9 kilometers a second to most certainly kill all the Croods and Free Guy in seconds. Finally, an actual on-screen kill comes from the giant bird, in which Free Guy tries to use one brain cell in his body and tries to undermine every highly intellectual move that Grug makes. Although, fortunately for Free Guy, his so-called idea does work in favor of the Croods, trapping the poor helpless creature, in which the Croods devour its entire flesh, consuming every last molecule of the beast until there is possibly nothing left, even scarring the absolute bitch that is Free Guy. The next death comes scenes later, when once again, Free Guy tries to come up with some sort of idea when he attempts to enlighten the Croods with his supposedly fresh concept of the Brian, unaware of the existence of Brian Griffin millions of years prior. And I am a dystopian Croods believer, so sorry Free Guy, but unoriginal. In response to the criticism from the many wise intellectuals around him, he undertakes an experiment to prove such theory through the use of imagery, showing inside both of his skull as well as Thunk's, in which, thankfully, he kills Thunk, as the weak-minded and weak physique that Thunk has, when Free Guy comes to the conclusion that Thunk has no brain whatsoever. Upon realizing this, Thunk's self-conscious immediately realizes that his body has no way of properly functioning, causing Thunk to collapse and meet an immediate sufferable dosing.
My final message. Goodbye.
To my misfortune, once again, Grug must be added to the kill count, as when Free Guy comes up with a so-called idea to quickly and efficiently get down a huge mountain using giant leaves to slide down. Now, judging how gravity works and how most likely the leaves would proceed to break apart, serving them useless, but I am a generous god and assume that these leaves are relatives, and Leafy is here, harnessing the power of willing disabled children on the internet to remain intact at all times. But in Free Guy's rise to glory, him and the rest of the Croods ruthlessly murdered Grug by causing him to lose his balance and let go of the pause button on the American Dad speedrun, causing him to miss the shoes at the beginning, falling into the abyss, which is presumably forever. Immediately after, Grug tries to intervene with Eep's further growing relationship with Free Guy, in which he is struck down by God twice, as the last thing he watches is Free Guy convert Eep into a blue shirt girl. The next kill comes from newly introduced character Douglas, who Thunk finds whilst being lost in a cave, and forms a loving relationship with, which lasts about as long as someo's temper playing Black Ops 2.
You done the mic for playing your fucking mouth, mate. I'm a grown man. You sent me a message first, yeah? I live in Smethwick, Birmingham. If you want to fucking brawl, come down Smethwick, ask for Danny G. I'll come out of my house and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick.
Thunk, trying to clear the drama of scamming millions of people online, tries to make his dog look cute for the apology video.
Like the way you are looking at me.
Immediately killing him. Later, after Grug is losing the popularity contest between him and Free Guy, he attempts to win back his ungrateful family by trying to use his huge intellect. However, Grug is in fact a caveman, so ideas don't come quite naturally to him.
Hi, my name is
Grug.
I'm out.
So, while trying to show off his Free Guy impression, gets crushed by a huge round boulder, not before coming into quarrels with a massive tree, creating what I call
double kill.
Grug even comes up with an ingenious way of allowing for safe mobility, inventing a caravan centuries early. Despite this, a humongous Bugs Bunny ruins the whole work of a once-in-a-lifetime genius, crushing him in the process. Now, little death occurs, only until after Grug, in his glorious rage, finally comes to his senses and realizes the only way to remove Free Guy as a problem is to remove him from existence. But blinded by this rage, gets them both stuck in slime, supposedly being a kill for Grug, but Grug refuses to be foiled by Free Guy, brings out his best gamer girl impression, getting all Discord mods within a 5-mile radius to come to his rescue. Upon realizing that Grug is not the exaggerated anime girl these admins we're looking for, he is enlisted in endless fury, ready to cancel Grug and Free Guy on Twitter, when suddenly the Sam returns with a counter-attack, launching the admin to the role of sex offender, permanently banning him forever. The final death of the movie comes at the hands of the Croods themselves. Grug, finally expecting Free Guy into the Croods family.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Due to this movie making them millions of big balls, decides to take a hard pick, although without Grug realizing, with Grug and Free Guy being the pick, making the hardest of the pick backfire onto them, killing all of them instantly. Overall, counting 67 deaths. For Grug's moment, I shall give it to Grug for being Nicolas Cage. For Virtuous Walk, they'll go to Thunk for existing, because if abortions were around back then, Thunk most certainly wouldn't be. And remember,